Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world, but about 70% of the population, or 192 million people, lack access to safe water. And for many, water sources are distant, contaminated, or expensive. And so water safety is a major public health concern, with 7 out of 10 Indonesian households consuming drinking water contaminated with bacteria.
"63-year-old Samsi is finishing his shift for the day. The fisherman has been out at sea for the last 6 hours, and now it's time to unload his catch and anchor his boat. Samsi lives in Kalibaru, a densely populated sub-district in North Jakarta's coastal Cilincing area, home to over 80,000 people. Narrow lanes zigzag and meander around homes, and long hoses connect one house to another in some places. After a long day of work, Samsi heads home to wash up. But for him, getting clean water is not that simple.
Air benar-benar kesulitan, Bu. Air dari pertama saya pasang pump, akhirnya airnya nggak keluar. Airnya nggak keluar, saya pengen pasang lagi dikenain denda. Suruh bayar denda abodemen 2 juta. Akhirnya saya masih mending diputus aja lah biar air mah bisa beli-beli.
For bathing and washing up, he uses water from his neighbor's well. The water isn't clean. It always leaves residue like salt after it dries. For everything else, he buys clean water from his neighbors. Samsi's neighbor, Yulia Mayau, gets her clean water supply from neighbors too. Born here in the coastal community of Cilincing, filling 1 hour's worth of water costs her about $1.85 and lasts her 3 days. After that, she'll have to wait for her turn to fill up her supply once again.
Untuk yang punya pump itu sekarang memang udah mayoritas, jadi hanya minoritas aja yang belum punya pump. Jadi ya karena memang kita di sini mau pasang juga kesulitan, katanya dari pihak pump sendiri mereka nggak bisa pasang jaringan pump itu karena biayanya mahal, biayanya besar. Jadi kalau mau dipasangin pump, mau pasang jaringan harus minimal ada 10 rumah nih yang mau pasang gitu. Kalau untuk yang di batasan ke arah laut sini sering ada macet, sering ada mati pump gitu.
Local residents selling their water tell me that they're not legally allowed to do it. The pumps in their homes are only for private consumption. One resident who was caught after a spot check by authorities said she was fined $300. She declined to speak on camera. Those residing within 80 meters of the sea can access a 2,000-liter water storage tank in its vicinity. But leaks in the tank means water runs out faster than expected. The plight of the people snagged the attention of a local NGO, ESQ Kemanusiaan. And earlier this year, they found a sponsor for a bigger water tank.
This 5,000-liter storage tank for clean water can be divided for use by a maximum of 8 homes in the area. And even then, the water will be finished after just 1 day.
With just 2 storage tanks, water is still an issue, as the tanks are only filled up if facilitated by the NGO, which relies on donors. Residents say some assistance is better than none.
Mereka itu biasanya kan nunggu 3-4 hari ya. Ada tanda hujan atau subsidi yang kemarin terbantu. Nggak nyampe nunggu selang itu yang kayak ada tampungan itu sampai 3-4 hari. Mereka bisa ambil di sini. Secara umum ini tanpa bayaran, Mbak. Keran nggak saya kunci intinya. Saya cuma lagi cari solusi. Tandon ada, airnya dari mana, yang penting warga di sini mau pakai silakan.
For ESQ Kemanusiaan, completely relying on donors forever is unrealistic. Each refill like this one is for 5,000 liters, and it costs about $35. In the long term, the organization is looking to empower the coastal community.
Gini, kebutuhan air yang paling utama gitu ya. Kalau kita berharap terus dari donatur ya rasanya juga tidak mungkin begitu. Upayanya adalah kita sebetulnya ingin memberikan sumber pemasukan lain untuk masyarakat dan ibu-ibu di sini sehingga mereka punya kemampuan untuk nanti urunan atau mengelola mendatangkan air bersih sendiri sehingga menjadi mandiri, tidak melulu bantuan menunggu bantuan atau dari donatur kami. Inginnya ke depannya seperti itu ya.
Local officials say they have conveyed the necessity of laying the water pipes.
Kita kan sudah bersurat, sudah berkomunikasi ya, tinggal tunggu waktu. Mudah-mudahan tahun ini akan segera terrealisasi. Ternyata tahun 2024 ini program dari mereka memang seluruh jaringan di Provinsi DKI Jakarta harus terpasang jaringan PAM Jaya.
According to the Jakarta Water Resources Department, the city currently has about 65% accessibility to clean water. Authorities are targeting 100% by 2030.
Jadi lagi dikerjain pembuatan perpipaan yang ada di DKI Jakarta. Sehingga nanti semua daerah-daerah yang belum terlayani oleh air perpipaan ini akan terlayani semua sehingga masyarakat bisa mengambil air bersih itu melalui dengan perpipaan itu.
The aim is for the pipeline system to deter people from pumping well water, which in turn increases the risk of land subsidence, especially in certain areas like North Jakarta. Analysts say authorities need to do even more if they want to improve Jakarta's status.
Justru harus mulai naik tingkat juga buat kota Jakarta sebagai kota global, yaitu menyediakan air siap minum dari keran. Ini tantangan terbesar menurut saya yang harus diperjuangkan. Jadi selain menyediakan air bersih masuk ke pemukiman, berani nggak pemerintah DKI Jakarta, dalam hal ini juga pusat ya, membangun jaringan dan menyediakan air bersih yang siap minum bagi warga Jakarta.
Experts say if optimized, Jakarta has an abundance of water resources that simply need to be managed properly. The city can also look to collaborate with developed countries, especially in the transfer of technologies to turn these goals from pipe dreams to reality. After the break, we take a look at what Jakarta has done to stop flooding and to ensure water security.
The majestic Mount Pangrongo reveals itself in all its natural grandeur. Somewhere near the foot of this dormant volcano in Bogor, West Java province, lies the headwater area for the Ciliwung River.
The Ciliwung River is about 120 kilometers long and it crosses two main cities, Bogor and Jakarta, before finally flowing out into the Java Sea. This river played an important role during the early settlement of Jakarta, but now it has been blamed for the floods in the capital.
In 2022, authorities completed construction of the Ciawi and Sukamahi dams in Bogor, the first dry dams in Indonesia. These dry dams are catchment areas designed to hold excess water from the Ciliwung River to mitigate downstream flooding. When there's prolonged intense rainfall upstream, the water level in the dam rises and it's retained temporarily. Water continues to be released at a slow and controlled rate through gates located at the outlet. This prevents the river downstream from overflowing, causing floods in nearby residential areas. Dry dams do not retain water for drinking or irrigation purposes, and it's only useful during the monsoon season.
The Ciawi Dam can hold more than 6 million cubic meters of water. That's the amount of water in about 2,400 Olympic-sized swimming pools. When the dam is full, the surface area of the water can stretch up to 390,000 square meters.
About 4 kilometers away from the Ciawi Dam is the Sukamahi Dam. Both dry dams are able to reduce floods in Jakarta by 30% by retaining water in its catchment areas.
Kami menggunakan terowongan ya, di konduit itu untuk mengalirkan air dari hulu ke hilir. Nah, konduit inilah yang berfungsi untuk membatasi debit yang mengalir ke hilir, ke arah Jakarta. Ketika muka air di bendungan ini naik melewati terowongan tadi, itu sudah terjadi pembendungan, sudah terjadi pembatasan debit yang mengalir ke hilir. Ini adalah bangunan yang kita siapkan untuk mengantisipasi kondisi alam.
The dry dams may ease the discharge of water flowing to Jakarta, but flood control efforts are still needed downstream. Residential areas near the Ciliwung River in Jakarta continue to get inundated. Parts of the river have narrowed considerably over the years due to human settlement near the banks, causing water to overflow easily. Authorities are widening parts of the river by 35 to 50 meters back to its original condition. But only 17 kilometers out of 33 kilometers of the Ciliwung River in Jakarta have been reconstructed.
Tantangannya ya klasik lah Pak, itu ada masalah girik lah, masalah sertifikat double lah, ada masalah warganya belum mau dibebasin lah itu. Tapi semuanya itu kan kita tetap melaksanakan, kita selalu pendekatan secara sosialisasi, kita jelasin kegunaan semua sehingga itu bisa kita selesaikan. Kita kerja juga sama dengan BPN Pak untuk masalah surat menyurat semuanya Pak.
Nuriswanti lives in Manggarai, South Jakarta, next to the Ciliwung River. Her home gets inundated every year during the rainy season when the water from the river overflows. Manggarai is one of several districts that has been included in the river normalization program.
Kalau banjir ya matiin aja lah, udah terbiasa gitu aja. Ya habis gimana, saya mau pindah juga agak betah suami saya. Enak-enak saya pribadi di sini, asli sini. Jadi saya nggak mau kemana, laki usaha di sini. Keluarga banyak di sini Pak, ya betah di sini semua. Kalau airnya naik, saya ke atas kan ada tingkat, naik ke atas 2. Tetap saya di sini di atas. Nanti kalau surut tengah malam kita bersihin. Nggak pernah ngungsi Pak, soalnya kalau sampai jalanan baru saya ngungsi.
A recent fire destroyed some homes in Manggarai next to the Ciliwung River, and affected residents have been repairing their property and rebuilding their lives. It's a sign of their conviction to stay put despite facing the threat of floods. But the government's river normalization program may be the final nail in the coffin, as residents would be forced to be evicted.
Yang penting saya punya tempat tinggal aja. Habis tinggal di mana-mana nggak ada tempat. Biarin pinggir kali juga. Yang penting asal bisa tidur. Harapannya mah jangan digusur. Orang kita kan lama di sini udah 67 tahun. Bisanya mah kita malah dibagusin, dipermanen ya kan.
The Ciliwung River is not the only source of floods in Jakarta. Some parts of the capital also experience a rise in water levels due to many other factors, such as extreme rainfall, tidal floods, and drainage issues.
Terdampak banjir di sini itu karena kali Simongol ya. Karena kalinya masih dangkal gitu, banyak tanahnya nggak dikeruk gitu Pak. Harusnya mungkin kalau dikeruk mungkin lebih cepat gitu Pak. Karena dekat kali warga itu membuang sampah itu sembarangan mungkin. Membuang sampah itu jangan sembarangan. Kalau membuang ke kali itu didenda, udah. Namanya warga Pak susah. Itulah akibatnya.
An urban planning expert said other rivers in Jakarta also need to be normalized to overcome the perennial flooding in the capital.
Jakarta mempunyai 13 sungai ya. Nah, kalau Ciliwung tadi berhasil dilakukan penataan, berhasil mengurangi dampak banjir bagi Jakarta, ini akan menjadi contoh bagus untuk penataan di 12 sungai ya, termasuk tadi sungai besarnya Pesanggerahan, Angke, Sunter ya. Yang juga bisa dilakukan hal yang sama seperti di Kali Ciliwung. Tapi ini baru pada tahap awal ya.
Jakarta will soon lose its status as the capital city when the country shifts its administrative center to Nusantara in East Kalimantan. But Jakarta will remain as the country's economic epicenter, and authorities will need to double down on flood control measures to ensure the city continues to be a magnet for investments and a livable space for its residents. When we come back, we take a look at what Indonesia is doing to harness hydropower from its more than 800 rivers. The imposing Jati Gede Dam is an engineering marvel reflecting man's attempt to harness the power of nature. The dam, located in Sumedang, West Java province, is the second biggest in Indonesia and is able to hold 980 million cubic meters of water. Hydropower dams are located at a higher elevation and utilize the potential energy of water to produce electricity. When water is released from the dam, a gravitational force creates strong pressure and rotates the blades of the turbine. This in turn spins the generator which produces electricity. The water flushes out past the turbine through the outflow and into the riverbed to continue its journey. The hydropower plant is located 160 meters below the Jati Gede Dam and about 3 kilometers away.
This hydropower plant with a capacity of 110 megawatts uses water from the Jati Gede Dam. The plant is expected to be operational by May this year. It cost some $146 million to build and will support the electricity grid between Java and Bali.
The dam needs to discharge water at the rate of 73 cubic meters per second to turn the turbine to generate electricity.
PLTA ini ya berfungsi untuk peaker, jadi hanya untuk jam puncak saja, pukul 17 sampai dengan 22. Karena kita memanfaatkan air yang ada di Bendungan Jati Gede, kita menyesuaikan. Jadi ketika air yang dilepas untuk kebutuhan irigasi di bawah, kita manfaatkan. Lah, di jam-jam tersebut telah kita manfaatkan untuk menggerakkan dari turbin atau pembangkit ini.
Hydropower plants can also be impacted by drought. When there's insufficient water in the dam, the hydropower plants cannot produce electricity. A solution is to diversify the source of water.
Pengennya kan turbinnya bergerak terus untuk dapat listrik. Padahal suatu saat bendungan itu harus ditutup, tidak perlu air hilirnya. Ada kepentingan yang berbeda. Makanya teman-teman PLN membuat bendungan kecil, namanya bendungan karedok. Karena dia butuh turbinnya mengalir terus, bergerak terus untuk dapat listrik, dia tampung dulu.
The Jati Gede Dam has a water surface area of more than 4,100 hectares, which makes it suitable to be used to capture solar energy. There are plans to install floating solar panels to complement the hydroelectric power already generated by the dam.
Rencana pembangkit listrik tenaga surya pun ini sudah dilakukan studi-studi dari PLN dan ditargetkan 2024 ini juga sudah beroperasi untuk pembangkit listrik tenaga surya dengan kapasitas 100 megawatt. Artinya kurang lebih di bawah 10% dari luas area genangan itu akan dimanfaatkan untuk pembangkit listrik tenaga surya terapung, sekitar 300 hektar nanti yang akan dimanfaatkan untuk PLTS di Jati Gede.
The Jati Gede Dam is not only used to generate clean renewable energy, but also plays an important role in flood control. The runoff from the Jati Gede Dam regulates the amount of water released, mitigating floods downstream over an area of 14,000 hectares. The reservoir also provides water security, supplying 3.5 cubic meters per second of drinking water to meet the needs of more than 600,000 residents in the surrounding areas. In addition, the water in the dam helps improve food security.
One of the functions of the Jati Gede Dam is for irrigation. Water from the dam is able to irrigate more than 90,000 hectares of farmland in 3 regencies, Majalengka, Cirebon, and Indramayu. More than 1 million farmers benefit from the Jati Gede Dam irrigation system.
Indramayu Regency produced more than 819,000 tons of rice last year, making it the biggest rice producer in West Java province. 45-year-old farmer Kadirin attributes this to the good irrigation system and the abundant supply of water from the Jati Gede Dam.
Sangat membantu sekali karena petani sekarang mah nggak khawatir kalau nggak ada hujan, nggak ada khawatir. Dulu mah kalau nggak ada hujan, aduh siap aja mesin pompa tuh buat naikin ke sawah dulu. Sekarang mah ya enak, nggak khawatir lah masalah air mah masih normal banget. Nah, ada bangunan irigasi ini, petani bisa sukses, bisa panen terus sampai 2 kali kalau di sini mah.
But not everyone benefits from the development of the Jati Gede Dam. Rudy is one of more than 11,000 residents in 32 villages who are forced to leave to make way for the reservoir. The 50-year-old is still against the construction of the dam more than 8 years after it was built.
Saya melakukan penolakan terhadap Waduk Jati Gede dengan alasan bahwa bendungan Jati Gede itu akan menimbulkan kerusakan alam dan kerusakan sosial. Nah, untuk warga yang terkena dampak sampai hari ini, sampai 8 tahun itu memang belum ada perubahan yang lebih baik secara ekonomi atau penghasilan yang tadinya petani peternak sekarang tidak punya lahan garapan atau sawah.
Mahfudin lost his livelihood when his rice farm was submerged in the reservoir. The 63-year-old had to adapt to survive and is now a different kind of farmer, breeding fish in this floating fish farm in the catchment area.
Dukanya terlalu banyak sih ya. Kita banyak digunjang-ganjingkan dengan akan ditertibkan lah, kita dikurangi. Ya kita ikutin aja. Berharap banyak lah dari pemerintah ya. Satu mungkin ya legalnya ini kita, biar nggak digunjang-ganjing gitu ya, legalnya perda itu.
Hydropower energy production has been Indonesia's most significant contributor of renewable energy. As the country builds more dams to quench its thirst for water security and renewable energy, more work may be needed to balance the impacts on the economy, ecology, and the community.